Welcome to this explainer. Think of me as your mentor today, guiding you through the maze of getting your English language teaching, or ELT, research paper published. We're zeroing in on the International Journal of English Language and Literature Studies, published by ASS. Look, landing an open access peer-reviewed spot here, it's a massive achievement. But it doesn't happen by accident. It takes a very specific strategy. And today we're going to break down exactly how to apply 3 powerful techniques to get you there.
But hey, before we even start packing our bags for this journey, we have to face a pretty tough question. Is your research actually ready? We absolutely need to make sure you aren't wasting your time before you write a single word of that manuscript.
So let's treat these 5 gatekeeper questions like a hard, pass, or fail test, okay? 1. Is your topic genuinely original? 2. Does it actually solve a real problem in ELT? 3. Are you contributing new knowledge? 4. Does this have international appeal, or is it just hyper-local? And 5, can you back up your findings with rigorous data? If you're saying no to literally any of these, you've got to stop, turn back, and refine your research design before facing the editors. You've got to build a rock-solid foundation first.
Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the quest for publication. Then we'll dive into Technique 1, high-impact design, followed by Technique 2, manuscript mastery, and Technique 3, surviving the review. Finally, we'll cross the finish line.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the quest for publication, preparing for the journey.
Moving right along to Section 2, this is Technique 1, high-impact design, mapping your strategy.
Now, applying this first technique actually happens entirely in the pre-writing phase. You can't just write about, whatever comes to mind. You have to map your strategy to what the academic community is debating right this second. Take a look at this list. Editors are absolutely hungry for these high-impact themes. Notice a trend here? We've got generative AI and ELT, prompt engineering, AI literacy, digital assessment, learning analytics. The focus right now is heavily skewed toward how tech and AI are completely reshaping language learning. But, and this is a massive caveat straight from the publisher, no topic guarantees acceptance. You could write about the most mind-blowing ChatGPT application on the planet, but a hot topic alone will not save a weak methodology. You still need that clear research problem, a literature-supported gap, and just rock-solid data analysis.
Hey, speaking of AI, we really need to talk about how you actually write the paper. The journal has a very strict AI policy. If you use AI to prep your manuscript, you must abide by their disclosure rules. You can totally use it as a tool, like to polish your grammar, improve clarity, or fix organization. But the core research, the analysis, the conclusions, those have to be yours and yours alone, and they must be independently verified. Think of AI as your helpful assistant here, definitely not your co-author.
All right, let's jump into Section 3, Technique 2, manuscript mastery, the mechanics of the paper.
If you want to build the actual armor for this quest, you have to master the mechanics. And the absolute most crucial point here is this exact word count. 5,000 to 12,000 words. Listen, if your paper doesn't land right in this sweet spot, and submit it as a single word file, by the way, the desk editors might just reject it before a reviewer even sets eyes on it. It's the very first hurdle of the screening process. Seems like a simple rule, right? But you would be shocked by how many submissions fail right out of the gate just because of this.
To really apply the second technique, you should use this table to budget your words. Seriously, treat this as your ultimate blueprint. Notice where the heavy lifting is happening here. Your literature review needs to be robust. We're talking roughly 2,000 to 2,500 words. Your discussion is another heavyweight section, needing up to 2,000 words to properly connect your findings back to previous studies. So use this table to make sure you aren't, say, over-explaining your introduction at the expense of your discussion or your methodology. It's all about keeping your paper perfectly balanced and scholarly.
Next up is Section 4, Technique 3, surviving the review, navigating the gauntlet.
This double-blind peer review gauntlet kicks off the exact second you hit submit, and I need you to keep this expected timeline firmly in mind. Patience is your absolute best friend here. Look at this. The peer review phase alone can take up to 3 months, and that all depends on reviewer availability and how slammed the editors are. So if you're rushing to get a publication for a fast-approaching graduation or a promotion deadline, you've got to factor this reality into your schedule. This is a thorough multi-step evaluation, not a quick rubber stamp.
Now, this is where we get a real peek behind the curtain. Think of this table as your ultimate reviewer cheat sheet. This is exactly how your hard work gets scrutinized. Check this out. A massive 40% of your evaluation rests completely on just 2 things: originality and methodology.
The reviewers are asking, are you bringing something genuinely novel to the table? And is your research design, like your sample size, instruments, and validity, actually sound? Interestingly, even if your academic English is absolutely flawless, it only makes up about 10% of the reviewer's focus. It's the science, the actual rigorous research, that really carries the day.
So what happens when the reviewers inevitably find some flaws? Let's look at this contrast. Over on the left, we've got the frequent traps that lead to an outright no questions asked rejection, stuff like a weak research gap, high similarity scores, outdated literature, or just inappropriate stats. Please don't fall for those. But if you're lucky enough to get a revise and resubmit, you apply this third technique by meticulously following the best practices on the right. You provide a clean manuscript, a tracked changes version if they want it, and, this is huge, a polite, point-by-point response to every single reviewer comment. Nailing that response document dramatically boosts your chances of a final yes.
Which brings us to Section 5, the finish line, acceptance and beyond.
So what actually happens when you survive the gauntlet, win over the reviewers, and finally get that coveted acceptance email? Well, acceptance isn't the actual end of the road. To get your paper published online with its very own DOI, you first have to knock out the copyright formalities. Then, because this is a fully open access journal, you'll need to pay the article processing charge, or APC. Quick pro tip for you here. Always double-check the current APC rates on their official website before you even submit, because those historical fees can definitely change. After that's sorted, you rigorously check your final proofs. Once you give them the green light, the publisher assigns the DOI, volume, and issue, and boom, your paper is out in the world.
But we need a quick reality check here. While the journal is indeed Scopus indexed, your paper is not going to magically appear in the Scopus database overnight. This is a super common point of confusion. The indexing step is just not immediate. It takes time for the publisher to send over the required metadata and for Scopus to actually process the whole shebang. So definitely celebrate the publication, but just know that the database indexing will follow a bit later.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really grounding truth straight from the source material. Acceptance depends on originality, methodological rigor, and journal fit, not just the topic. Flashy AI topics might catch an editor's eye during that initial desk screening, sure, but rigorous, undeniable research design, that's what actually secures the treasure. There are no shortcuts, you just have to put in the work.
So there you have it. You are now armed with how to apply these 3 essential techniques: high-impact design, manuscript mastery, and the insider strategy to survive the review. You've got the map, you know the exact word counts, and you even have the reviewer cheat sheet. The gauntlet is officially yours to run. So my final question to you is this: how are you going to shape the future of ELT research? What breakthrough will you publish next?